Yeah, market recap Wednesday 27th of May 2026. Today was a classic day of just dump at 9:30. Um, once we came to let me check. Once we came to 8:30 and we had our 8:30 news, we started disrespecting everything for the bullish price action. So in my head, I was like, there is three areas that I'm gonna look at, and these are all just 15-minute basis. There's nothing on the 1 hour. There's nothing on the 4 hour. That's all as of importance, right? This was the main CB that I was looking at. I mean, BC that I was looking at to hold us. If it's not gonna hold us, then we're gonna have that classic 9:30 where we're gonna dump, and not only dump to here, we're gonna dump all the way to this low. That's my target. And then after that, it could do whatever. I would not expect it to continue the dump, right? So let's look at what we had. Well, in London, London swept Asia and then just went up and made new all-time highs, and we've already cleared our previous daily high and everything. So that's why I don't expect us to come sweep previous daily low, right? And even the target for this model would be this low, not this low. So we had reasons to not go lower. But what made me expect the 9:30 though? NQ might look like a random high. However, ES, when we went higher, we taken our previous daily high. That high was its main point, was just the sweep. So that made me think, okay, we are fine to them because you're not looking to short all-time highs unless specific things happen, right? You don't want to just, oh, we have sell side, you're trying to short. No, it just won't work. Anyway, in terms of the entry, and that's how you work out the price, that's the price. But in terms of entry, what I was waiting for? Well, I need to follow the rules, right? And like, I know this is most likely to happen, neither it don't, but what could have happened here? And it's rare, but it's not every time. We could have opened up bullish. This candle would open up at 9:30, and we could have visited this in an aggressive wick or something like that. We would spend around 10 minutes just hovering over and then kind of dumping back slowly. And then that would give us a clean dump. Second scenario is this: we would have 9:30 create a SIBI, which I was looking to take a short should it come to the midpoint of it, right? And right there, this was the candle that I was waiting for to go to the midpoint so I could take that short. It doesn't happen. That's fine. What do? We can see that it ran all the way to the low of the 15-minute visit, and the bodies are on the lower quadrant. It says that it's bearish, very bearish. So if there was a wick that was ever going to do that, that would be a perfect entry and I would take it. But if it doesn't do it, I can't take it because, again, the same scenario of it could be stolen before then dumping, right? So now I'm just waiting for my first presenter to take the entry because after that first presented, it'll give me a clear stop loss of where it can and can't where it can and can't go, right? So we have our first presented here, too close to the first liquidity. Normally, I hope this would have been somewhere here, much higher, anywhere after this, like this, if we click to the first presented. But I was watching this candle. It looked like it was gonna make it, and then it makes a immediate rebalance, shoots lower, right? And then that candle shoots lower below that gap. This made me confident because this was the last thing that could possibly hold us. And look how aggressively we went through it. Right? So I put my limit order at the midpoint here. Why? Because I felt like it went too far. If there was going to be a mini retracement into it, I wanted something like at the higher end rather than at the lower end of the gap. It didn't give it to me, it just went to the lower quadrant of the gap, which made me force an entry, right? Normally I'm a limit order, but that when it wicked, it went too fast and it made me force an entry. So this candle, I'm watching this wick, right? I'm watching this wick. If we can eat through this wick, then we're not gonna come back to this. So I'm just waiting. Now I lowered my limit order again here, just hoping that it would give it one more entry. It didn't. We go through the wick. I take one short entry right here because I know this wick is basically my stop loss now, right? And we create a mini gap, I'm watching it, and then this wick right here, like I said, is the stop loss. So I enter once, and once we make this order block going into it, we bottom of the wick, I full enter my position. And yeah, it is a bad entry. Normally this should have been an entry. I didn't follow my rules. Try to like get more out of it. And then that's it. Once we go to the first liquidity, we come tease it here, go all the way back. I'm watching the opening price. As expected, it goes to it and then dumps. It dumps one more time. It wasn't it didn't gap through it, right? If it gapped through it, then I would expect this low, but it didn't really gap through it. So I knew there would likely be a retracement. So I just took my position off. Regardless, got my 1 to 2 or even more, and I just got out. So yeah, that's just a simple trade, really. And of course, it goes back to where the expected entry was, and then goes and delivers to the final liquidity. So it is what it is, right? If my first entry was here, if it gave that first entry, then I would hold through all of this because I know this is a guaranteed target, basically, and it would come to it today, basically 100%. I mean, I've never seen the model fail in delivering to the target. So that's the target. It hit it, and then after that, it's just gonna blab around for the day. There's really nothing to do, right? It could come back higher, it could do whatever, but it's not gonna have anything meaningful today. So yeah, it's not gonna come take this low as well. But yeah, that's the market recap. Try to do a kind of rush because kind of stuff to do, but yeah, there ain't really much to it. Main thing about this day, just know the three scenarios like I said earlier. And what I notice it happens with days that have Ether in use. So I might try watch these days early and try to like short all the way up here rather than trying to catch the mid of the move, right? Because it forms, how do I say it? It can form in two ways. It can either form on like the overnight. The overnight will just be stacking sell side, or it can form even with the previous day. Right? The previous day was basically stacking sell side. Right? Look at this. Sell side, sell side, sell side, sell side, and we just keep stacking. We had like a mini retracement right here, and that's why, because it's a prolonged over days where it's plausible for London to take Asia low, but it's nothing significant. And then again, we make the stairs again, just rally up, and then at 9:30 we just dump aggressive. Happens every time. I mean, every time. Happens a lot to the point that you can make your own model or entry out, right? I showed you my entries, but it's definitely better. I just like ones with tighter stop losses. That's why I enter how I enter. Like I could have entered here knowing that it wouldn't go up here, but why risk the chances, right? Because there is still that chance of that scenario. Once I get better at it, once I see it more and more, I'll define the rules even more. But what I gave is the bare minimum, just the basics, really. Right? It barely fails and always delivers. One more tip about the first presented. Normally, if it forms much higher, it could go over it, right? With a wick. It could go over. It could even close a body above. But this would never be touched. If it stayed as a breakaway gap, it'll never reach it. Or at least the midpoint. It depends. I'll try to dive into too many scenarios. Yeah. Just study this type of thing, right? Study this type of thing. It happens a lot, and it's the easiest one to catch. And normally the entry would be much higher. So you would be looking at something entry here normally that would offer, and that could be an easily 200 points and you're chilling with a tight stop loss. Right? Not many days offer that many points with tight stop loss in a low resistance fashion. Right? So yeah, that's market recap again. Peace.